And welcome to the video lecture on using expressions in SQL. So I'm going to start off right in Microsoft Access. I've opened up the Pine Valley Furniture Company database. I'm clicking on Query Design, closing Show Table, and I'm changing this to SQL View from the ribbon. I'm going to make this window a little smaller. So what are expressions? Expressions can be just about anything. If you want to see what the product standard price would look like if you increased it by 10% without actually changing data, you can do that in an SQL statement. So let's do that. So if I go down to my select statement, I'm going to open up the product table. Here's my product table. I'm going to make that smaller so you can see around it. And I'm going to select product standard price times 1.1 from product T. Alright, so now this is an expression. Product standard price times 1.1 is going to show me what the product standard price is when it's increased by 10%. So if I run that, get an expression, column heading, I would alias that, of course, and then I can see that these would be the prices increased by 10%. Now that doesn't tell me a whole heck of a lot. What product, right? So if we go back into SQL view, we can add in, say, the product ID and the product description. And now when we run that, that's a little bit more descriptive. Now I can see that the end table would be 192.50, right? And I can even go so far as to include the product standard price again. Right, so now when I run it, I can see the whole thing. I can see that the product standard price was $175 and now it's $192.50. 200 turns into $220 and so on. There are a variety of things that you can do, right? This is mathematical. Right, oops, SQL view. This was a mathematical expression, right? But I can put together things like the product description and the product finish. For instance, in Microsoft Access, I would use an ampersand. An ampersand is, and these vary from database management system to database management system. So in Microsoft Access, we would use an ampersand. And then I want to add in the product finish, for instance. Okay, so when I run that, what I get is another expression that combines the product description and the product finish. Now, this doesn't look real pretty, does it? Because there's no space, right? It just goes from end table right to cherry. So that means we would have to add in a space. So let's go back in to design view, and we can do that simply by going next to the ampersand, putting an apostrophe, a space, apostrophe, and another ampersand. So what is that? That's what's known as a string literal. That means you can put anything in here you like. So for instance, I could even go to the end and put in Mike for everything, right? So now when I run that, I am going to get the expression end table with a space and cherry put together, right? Again, I would go in and alias these as something a little bit different, but I don't want to waste my time with that now. And a string literal is just anything. So the string literal is a space in expression 1, so that little space right there is a string literal, and including Mike in everything is a string literal. So that's a quick video on how to use expressions in SQL. Again, just close out of everything and leave the database ready for you to use the next time you want to use it. That's the end of that video.